Hello and welcome to the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald. I'm a playwright, screenwriter, and podcaster from South Wales. And seeing as March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, to mark it, I've decided to interview interesting people who have cerebral palsy from Wales and beyond every day in March. If you like this episode, please stay tuned for more throughout the month and like and share. Now enjoy this episode of the Palsy Podcast. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald, and thank you if you've listened to any of the episodes so far, but likewise welcome if this is your first time listening. Um, so today, really exciting guest joining me, Lauren Whittington. Hi Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Really good. This is quite exciting actually because thank you for reaching out on social media to do this. It's really cool to get to meet new and interesting people who have CP through
Yeah.
doing this podcast. So this question I wanted to ask you was like, what was it like growing up with CP, and was there a moment where you felt different to your peers?
Yeah, so basically, when I was growing up, I never really saw a difference until I was quite a lot older. So when I became a teenager and was surrounded by other teenagers, it was I didn't really have one moment, but you become more self-aware as you get
Mm,
older. And I think for me, that was what happened with me. I was more aware of my speech, my
mm.
walk, and just how I come across differently to others. And the only thing that really stands out now is I have a lot of medical appointments.
Mm.
So a lot of my friends obviously didn't. So I was always at the hospital for something or something else. So that is the only time I felt different until school at teenage years.
And
Yeah,
what was school like for you? What did you enjoy? What were you good at?
I loved school. I was a very academic child, and my top subjects, I guess, were English, maths, and science. So
Oh wow.
the core three, um, oh, top of my class, especially with English. I
Mm.
am a writer, so I love writing for myself, and that came across in my work. And then it just came on really. I did love school, but I was bullied with it as well.
How did that affect you, and like how did you deal with that? If
Well, rebellion started quite young, so at my first primary school, I was heavily bullied, and at a young age, you don't really know what to do.
no.
And I was quite lucky. My family moved to a new area, and so I ended up moving schools, and that bullying died down a lot.
Mm.
And then moving up to secondary school, high school, you you're around so many more people,
Yeah.
and so you have more chance of negative communication with people, but I was quite lucky to surround myself with the right ones.
I
so it
think
was
it,
a lot easier.
I think it's good if you can surround yourself with a good circle of friends who are supportive, who know you. Makes it so
Yeah,
much easier, doesn't it?
yeah, it does.
And when did you start writing? Then when did you discover that as something that you enjoyed doing?
Well, I was working at very young age, but as I got older, I stopped doing it as much, and then found that I was really good at photography. So that
Yeah.
kind of took over everything, really.
What kind of things did you used to write?
Just stories, poems, anything like that, really. Yeah.
And did you go to university? And if so, what was that like? How did you end that experience?
No,
No.
I chose not to go to uni because the minute I turned 18, I got a job doing
Okay.
social media and photography as well. So
Oh
that
wow.
kind of kick-started what I'm doing now, really, because I was working with a charity almost. It was a physiotherapy company. So which is ironic because I have physio and hydro as well.
Yeah.
So I was doing all the social media, photography, and that just kickstarts my career, really.
Did it also feel like almost you were giving back to a charity who helped you when you were little? Or maybe.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. They're the same people that I knew when I was young, and I grew up with these people, so
Yeah.
to give back is huge.
It makes you feel good, doesn't it? Like I had a similar thing in, because I'm based in Wales. So for the Cymru are basically similar thing to, I think, what
Mm,
you had. They treat kids with CP, and like being able to give something back is really good for it.
yeah,
So where did the interest in photography start?
my mum. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mum was always taking pictures of everyone at family parties, on holiday, anywhere we were. So one day I was like, actually, I might try this. So we bought myself a small camera, found out I was actually quite good. Well, so people say, and then when it came to A levels at school, I chose to pursue it more,
Mm,
and it went really well. So I was like, okay, I ended up passing with flying colours. I got a
mm.
B, and obviously with COVID, it kind of skewed all my ideas. So I had to redo a lot of my coursework plans to reflect not going out to see people. And then, so my
Yeah,
whole project,
how did you do that? How did you work through COVID and lockdown and stuff?
carefully, very carefully, yeah, it was. I had to come up with a whole new plan because in that September we were at school and then
Mm,
all of a sudden we're at home again. So I
mhm.
had to replan the whole course and it ended up being about self-portraits, which I'm not a big fan of, but it went well.
Did that, like, what was that like? I suppose when you're used to taking portraits of other people, then looking at yourself is quite exposing, maybe, would you say? Eh?
Very, yeah, very vulnerable as well because you're putting yourself in front of the camera where even though you feel more safe behind it, and then showing all those pictures to your teachers and other classmates as well was very scary.
And I don't know if you feel this, but sometimes I'm a bit self-conscious that my body moves in a different way or looks a different way to maybe neurotypical people. But to then
Yeah,
do self-portrait and really putting yourself out there, that must have been a scary thing to do.
it was scary. It was. And then obviously when I left school and left college, I was able to pursue what I really wanted to do, which is obviously other people, not myself.
Mm.
And now it's just the best thing I ever chose to do.
So how did you get started in that from leaving school to now working as a photographer? Uh,
With a lot of talking, a lot of networking, a lot of
mm,
just going out and taking pictures everywhere. And then I think in my case it was down to luck, just meeting the right people.
mm.
Yeah.
And what sort of portrait are you interested in? Is there a particular niche or area of portraiture that you're particularly interested in?
I would like to say I'm niching down, but I'm not because I like all portraits. But I guess at the minute it's mainly music and couples. So I love photographing couples. I've done a wedding before, and that was really cool. But music is a newly found interest as well. So I'm kind of in between both.
And what are your kind of personal goals for your photography? Is there any big things you'd like to achieve within photography?
I think really all I want to do is make it a successful business and get paid to do what I like to do. I
Mm,
mean, in the last year or so, a lot has changed for me. I've met some amazing people, and that has opened up more
mm,
opportunities for me as well. So, especially with music, because my partner plays, he performs, so I met a
mm.
lot of people through him. So, I'll just see where I go.
Absolutely. And like, do you have a particular creative process with your photography? Do you have a set way of working, or does it depend on what you're working on?
I think it depends on what I'm shooting. So if I am shooting a couple, it's very, you have to navigate their relationship and how they interact with each other.
Mm,
And you always have to make sure they feel comfortable with you at your photographing them. They have to like you.
yeah.
In a way, you have to really put yourself out there and come across friendly and confident, which I am friendly, but I'm not confident by any means. So it's a challenge to be like that to people.
And I suppose you have to make them feel comfortable in that situation and make
Yeah,
them feel relaxed. Do you feel you
yeah.
become more confident the more work you've done?
I think very small amount, yes, but I'm quite a negative. I look at my work and think, it can always be better.
Mm,
And everyone around me says, "What are you talking about? It's really good." But I've always felt like I can do more. I can do it
mm.
better. So I'm always learning new techniques, well, everything. I'm just always trying to learn something.
I feel very similarly about my writing in terms of always wanting to push to the next thing, but I think sometimes
Mm,
it's worth remembering, oh, you have achieved a lot. You have been successful so far in what you've done, and sometimes I think as creative people, maybe we don't appreciate that enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And in terms of your photography, do you use any like adaptive tech or adaptive kit to help you with your photography?
I think
Mm,
not necessarily adaptive for us,
right.
but when I first started, I had a DSLR camera, which is quite heavy. And after a while, I was like, I'm getting quite sore, quite painful arms, back, shoulders, neck, because you're holding it for quite a long time.
Mm,
So a couple of years ago, I changed to a mirrorless camera, which is a lot lighter, and it just changed my whole way of working really. But along with that, I have a tripod so it can hold it
mm.
for me if I'm having a bad day. And I also have a tripod dolly so you can put your tripod on wheels and move it around.
That's handy. That sounds really handy. And I suppose it takes a lot of energy. So anything you can do to save energy and be at your best for longer is
Yeah.
really helpful. Oh,
Yeah, it is. Especially if you're on a long shoot. So a couple of years ago, I shot a wedding, and
mm.
that was a 10-hour day. So you really have to learn how to manage your energy and make it last.
So what does an average day look like for you if you're working on a shoot like that?
It would be an early start, and then I would travel to where I had to go. And then, for example, the wedding I did started with bridal prep. So I worked with the bride for a whole morning, and then we all travelled together to her venue,
Mm.
did the actual ceremony, and then the party afterwards. And then I didn't finish until 10, got home at
Wow.
11. And then literally I would get home and just say hello, goodbye, and go to bed because you're so tired
Mm.
afterwards. But you wake up that following day and you're like, right, let's crack on with all these pictures.
Mm.
You upload it all first, save it somewhere safe, just in case, and then you go through the whole process thing of okay, what's good, what is bad, and you get rid of all the bad,
How do
and
you
then
tell
you
how do you tell what's good and what's bad? How do
I think it's quite subjective because a good portrait for me can look like something else to someone else. But in my opinion, a good portrait shows the viewer who that person is beneath
mm.
what they look like. And obviously, the technical stuff that I look for all the time, like it has to be in focus. But although if you have a really good picture out of focus, just make it black and white.
Mm.
Yeah.
And like I suppose you've learned as you've gone along and you've improved your practice and stuff. Is there anything that you ask people to maybe put in place for you to make your job more accessible?
Well, I think because at A level they didn't really teach me technical stuff.
Mm.
So after that, I'm now doing my diploma. So that's helping me learn more. And then with everyone around me, it's more about okay, how can I keep the energy going for a whole
Mm.
shoot? How can I make time to stop and rest? Especially being on your feet all day. you get quite tired, your feet get sore.
Mm.
So never wear heels, always wear Skechers or trainers.
Well, that's one of the things I'm really glad that I'm a bloke because if I was a woman with heels, I bet it an absolute nightmare if you got CP.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
especially for a long day.
and like future plans, ambitions, what are you hoping to achieve, and where would you like to go in the future?
I I just want to see where it will take me. My overall goal is to travel the world and
Mm.
take pictures wherever I go and just see the world and hopefully make a bit of money on the side doing it.
Where would you like to travel? Where are the places that are to the
Oh,
top of the bucket list?
I think it's quite a hard question to say because I have a whole list of so many places. I would love to do Australia because I have grandparents over there who I've not seen in quite a long
Oh
time.
wow.
I would Asia,
Hmm.
America, although maybe not right now.
Well, yeah, maybe wait for the political situation in America to calm down a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Um, and one other question I had maybe is when you're booked for a job, do you find that clients have any sort of preconceived perceptions of you because of your CP? And do you ever feel that you've got to challenge those? And it sounds awful, but I sometimes feel I've got to prove myself in some way. And I was wondering if you feel the same because it's not something I feel that we should have to do.
Yeah, I always feel like I have to prove myself because in the world we're in now, it's still not where it should be. I was very lucky that the couple that hired me for the wedding was just lovely. And when we met online first, like we are now,
Yeah.
they asked me, "Oh, have you got a CP?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And they were like, "Okay, well, we're going with you. How can we help you throughout the day?"
That's
And I
brilliant.
basically said to him, "Look, I will have someone with me at the second tutor. So I got a friend who has done many weddings before. He came to help, and they make sure that I'm okay, that I could stop if I needed a rest, which I did
Mm,
quite a few times. But I think I've been quite lucky so far that I meet the people that don't mind it, that they're
yeah.
open to it. They know they've seen what my work is like anyway,
Hmm.
and don't, they like my work. So it didn't
Absolutely.
really matter.
And your work speaks for itself. I'll put a link to your website in the description of this podcast so people can
Mm.
see your photography and the work you do, which is beautiful. I had to look at it
Thank
yesterday
you.
when I was writing the questions for this. But yeah, I suppose your work speaks for itself, standing out as a good photographer regardless of your disability or not. Um,
Yeah.
and like we've talked about portraits and what makes a good portrait. Like, are there any you've spoken about weddings? Like, what would be kind of the dream gig for you if a job came
Oh,
up and you were like, yeah, that's
mm,
me. What would you love to do?
that is a really good question. I would love to go abroad for a wedding.
Mm,
Maybe Italy or Greece because it's warm, it's summery, it's the whole vibe is just different in your way.
Mm,
But there are some really nice places over here that would also look really nice. But I think also it's more about who you work with.
mm,
I feel like I keep getting people that are laid back and just there to enjoy it for themselves. That is all I can ask for.
and do you have to be kind of a good judge of character with the work that you do to make sure you're working with the right people, people who get it, people who are gonna really appreciate what you do? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've always been a very good not a people person because I'm quite shy, but I'm really good at judging person's character,
Mm,
and that has helped me a lot in quite a few situations with work or social as
mm,
well. So it's yeah, you when you're in the world not meant for you, you
mm,
have to really surround yourself with the right people. So you get to learn to trust your gut. You really have to
mm.
analyze every situation you're put in. So it's yeah, it's all about the people really.
I agree with that so much because you've got a, for example, just going for a night out with your mates isn't as simple for people like us. How are you gonna get there? Is it gonna be accessible?
Mm,
Like, how am I gonna get home? Or thinking all those things through, and the extra energy that that takes as well. People
yeah.
who haven't got TPE maybe don't necessarily understand what that's like.
Yeah, I don't think people realise how much energy goes into preparing for something like that because
Mm.
all they do is, right, where are we going? And we can't do that. We have
Mm.
to see are there a lot of stairs? Is there a lift? Is it access friendly? Is it
Mm.
all of these things, you're always thinking, well, I would like to go here, but can I go here? Really?
I think places are becoming good in the sense of wheelchair access, maybe or accessible toilets, but I'd like to see public places be more accessible in terms of not just wheelchair users, but like decent seating and lower table. I think there's more that places could do to learn that
Yeah,
access isn't just about wheelchair users.
yeah, I agree with that 100%. Everyone is so focused on wheelchairs, they don't think about anything else. And
Mm.
that's such a shame because we're in this year, we're in 2026, and we're still fighting for what we need.
Mm.
And we shouldn't be doing that anymore.
No, I mean, part of this podcast is to raise awareness of the amazing people who have CP who are out there, but part of me feels like we shouldn't have to raise awareness because it's 2026 and
Yeah,
the world should be, it comes down to the social model, right? You know, people should be able to put things in place to make our lives easier and
yeah,
more accessible. Oh,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
and this has been, like, I can't believe we nearly finished because I've really enjoyed this, Lauren. Um, what's one thing that you wish people knew about CP?
I love the question, and when you say it through last night, I was like, okay, I really have to get really good answer for this. And obviously, there are basics that not all CP the same, it all fits
Mm,
everyone differently. But what I would love people to know is that CP does not define us. We are still human. we can still live a life, we can have friends, partners, become parents, live,
Absolutely.
we can live a life and
Yeah,
not be defined by what we have, because that is not who we are.
absolutely. And as long as things are put in place to enable us to access those things on an equal basis to
Yeah,
everybody else, there's no reason why we can't do those
yeah.
things.
I think there's a lot that needs to change still, but when it does, we'll be unstoppable.
What are the big changes that you would like to see in the world in the next sort of 5, 10 years in terms of accessibility and that sort of thing?
I think for me, it would be more about the social side of things because disability is still very much is not talked about.
Hmm.
People still look at you like you're different. And I know we are, but we shouldn't be treated like we are. We're still like everyone else. So I wish in the future it would be more accepted because for me personally, and from my experience, I don't feel like it's accepted as much as it should be.
I think that comes from education a little bit. I think people need to be educated a bit more in
Yeah,
schools about disability. But
yeah,
I don't think it should be down to disabled people to do the
no,
educating. Um,
no, yeah,
but yeah, I think those are really important goals for the future, and I hope that I can maybe play a small part in achieving some of them through this podcast and
yeah.
speaking to interesting people like you. And if you're interested in Lauren's photography, I will put a link to Lauren's website and social media and stuff. And what area are you based in? Like, if people want to contact you for work and stuff like that.
So
That's
I'm in Sussex, down the bottom of the UK really. I'm based in Brighton home, so if you're around that area, say hi.
if any of you listeners in Sussex or in Brighton, please get in touch with Lauren and yeah, hopefully you'll get a few more bookings off the back of this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. It's been lovely to meet you and thank you so much for your time today. Uh,
Thank you for having me. It's been really nice.
so that's all for this episode of the Palsy Podcast. Thanks again to Lauren for joining me. I hope you will join me on the next episode of the Palsy Podcast. We've got some exciting guests coming up over the next few weeks. We're going to be releasing episodes every day in March. So make sure that you're subscribed on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube where you can watch our lovely faces as well as listen to our voices. But for now, it's bye bye from me and bye from Lauren.
Bye
Goodbye.
bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Palsy Podcast with me, Ciaran Fitzgerald. I want to thank my guests for joining me, and I hope that you'll stay tuned for the next episode and more throughout March. Thank you.